It's February 11, and you're just in time to Time Out with Joshua Sariego. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my listeners. My name is Joshua Sariego, and welcome back to my mini podcast. It has been a little while since I updated my podcast because, I celebrated this Yuletide season and my 20th birthday with my loved ones. Well, I hope you enjoyed yours too. Along with this, I had my mini social media detoxification. I enjoyed the rest of the semestral break watching some BL series, which indeed helped me big time to recover from the stress that online class brought me in the previous semester. So, for today's episode, let us talk about a little snippet regarding capitalism. Capitalism is basically an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit, rather than by the state or the government. So when we discussed this topic with our professor, the first thing that comes to my mind is a question. Does Catholic schools are capitalistic institutions? Well, I do not necessarily point out Catholic schools in general, but I also indicate those sectarian and private non-sectarian learning institutions too. I do not generalize them, but the views and opinions expressed here are solely my own, and it does not represent any organization since these are only my observations. For your information, I finished my secondary education in a Catholic school in our town. There is always some time that I felt like they took advantage of me. I also asked some of my friends who also graduated in private schools, and surprisingly, most of them experienced it too. Imagine those pricey tuitions and miscellaneous fees, coupled with the canteen's expensive prices of goods. Then you are not allowed to use the science and speech laboratory, and even the Wi-Fi is restricted in the computer room. Some of the electric fans and air conditioning units are out of order, and there is a non-stop collection of contributions for the beautification of the classroom and for the preparation of every culminating activities. Well, it can be perceived that most private and some sectarian institutions are promoting capitalism. I think this is commonly present in the large private universities and in some small private schools with less than 1,000 students. It is already given that large private universities' tuition fees are high because they cater numerous students. But it is a bit dubious in some small private schools with less than 1,000 students that their tuition fees are high too. Well, I guess most of the reason why private learning institutions risk in raising up their tuition fees is because they also need to survive. I mean, without students paying them, they would be dysfunctional. They will not operate if the students did not enroll in their institution anymore. With large numbers of students, it equates large consumption of, let's say, electrical services and maintenance. More numbers of teachers are needed to recompense for their efforts in teachings, as well as the staffs and other security personnel for their job. With small numbers of students, schools are having bad time in budgeting those small profits they receive in providing quality education and at the same time for giving enough salary to their workers. Capitalism is evidently visible in those institutions if the students pay high tuition fees and yet the facilities they wished for and they deserved are not improved nor provided for them. You know that it is bothering to study in an expensive environment that you don't receive what you deserve. It is also unfair on the part of the professors because it is almost improbable for them to provide quality education if the support from the institution are low and if the platforms for their information dissemination are lacking. In some cases on small private schools, since the school are having hard time in gaining profits, they tend to reduce their labor force but then urge those who remain to either work longer or increase their productivity. I personally encountered a teacher teaching a subject that is not her forte, and there is also a teacher who accepted a co-curricular club because she thinks that her salary is not enough for her workload. It is difficult to eradicate capitalism if there is still a gap between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. We should always remember that as future media professional, we have this aspiration to look for conflict resolution in narrowing the gap between the privileged and the disadvantaged. We must promote and let the people realize that instead of being profit or production-centered, we should balance it with people-centered development approaches. Talking with those oppressed and exploited is much better because we can never go wrong with them. We should create a safe place for them since we have this goal to broadcast with higher purposes. We must amplify the voice of the voiceless in this capitalistic and neoliberalistic society. So, to all my listeners, I want to impart Victor Hugo's quote: "The paradise of the rich is made out of the hell of the poor." I believe that we are all created equal, regardless of our social standing. No one deserves paradise if it costs a hell to the other. Well, I guess that concludes our episode for today. Be sure to follow and subscribe this podcast to stay updated. Please stay tuned. Be safe, everyone. Better days are coming, and have a good day.